So we move on to game 2 of the top 4. Once more Dave Horton on the right there playing his HB Engineering the Future deck, and Neil from Birmingham on the left playing Kate. As I mentioned in previous casts, Dave's deck very much designed against account siphons. He has lots of assets in the shape of Adonis. He has his Eve campaigns. He has his Sands. The idea is it's a kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't deck, wherein if you don't trash his assets and pay the cash, then you inevitably end up with a very, very intimidating economy across the table from you, whereas if you do, you are perpetually skint. So it's a deck that is very difficult to deal with. It's fast, advanced, pure and simple. He wants to score the early efficiency committees if possible, but if not, he'll just Baltic Labour everything out from hand and use the Sands to score out whatever he deems necessary. So, you know, the first game, if you haven't watched it, you should. It was very good. Neil perhaps a little bit unfortunate not to take the win. Got very unlucky with the power shutdown, and as a result it was challenging. So Dave seeing an interesting opening hand there which he's going to take. I think he may have mulliganed actually, seeing 2 Bartics, a archive memory and a piece of ice as well there. So he's going to install, he's going to hedge fund, I think it was a hedge fund anyway, and he's going to draw. So, you know, in a sensible place, HQ wide open, but he's got no agendas in hand, so he's not particularly concerned about protecting. Oh, he has got the ABT in hand, sorry. So he has got 2 points worth of agendas there. But he's going to presumably accelerated beta test it next turn and just score it out of hand. He's got a Sand there as well. So it'll be interesting to see here if Neil decides to put pressure on HQ at all, or whether he looks to build and consolidate a strong economy initially. So the tried and tested method of tracking clicks, my favourite. He is going to run HQ, which seems sensible. He's going to see if he can score any early aggression. He's going to see the Sand. Do you take all 5 credits, trashing it, or do you try and build up economy? It's a really tough opening call. He is going to trash it, which I think is probably safe. It's probably a good idea. You don't want to have to be dealing with that later. He's going to run again, which means he's got a better chance of seeing that agenda that we know is there, but he's going to see an archive memories. And you know, while you can get free access, you might as well, as you've got 0 credits. He's going to run and see a Baltic Labour. So only a 1 in 4 chance there both times of seeing the agenda. He's going to do it final time. Is he going to get lucky? No, he's going to see a Baltic Labour again there as well. So Dave probably a little bit fortunate there. 4 axes in HQ, and didn't turn up the ABT in hand. Still no ice though, so he has no way of protecting HQ, though at this stage you would imagine Neil probably presuming there that there's no agendas in hand. He's seen a lot of cards, and although he turned up the Baltic twice, he's not to know there's 2 Baltics in hand. Presumably he's going to be thinking at this stage there's not a lot in hand to protect. But Dave in a bit of a quandary here. He doesn't have any immediate plays beyond kind of drawing, and again obviously, okay, so that's what he's going to do. He's going to use Baltic Labour to score out the accelerated base test from hand, which seems sensible. He's got no way of protecting HQ, and the longer it goes on, the more likely it is that that's going to get stolen. Particularly here as Kate sat on 0 credits and doesn't have a huge amount else to do other than just put pressure on HQ here. It's going to have to start clicking up some money and thinking about building up his rig. But it does mean, you know, that's a Baltic Labour used. He is going to do that. He's going to run on HQ. Again, seeing the temptation there of an open central server, but he's gaining no tempo, no value out of it. There's nothing in there to trash. He's seen all the cards now, so he must know there's nothing else there to gain. He's going to take a credit and he's going to use Armitage code busting, gaining some cash. But he's in a Dave's just run up into an efficiency committee, which is not what he wanted to see. He's still got HQ wide open. Hasn't seen a Jackson Howard to be able to mitigate this situation and drawing up, trying to find some ice. He's going to play a hedge fund. Oh, he's not, sorry. He's taking it back. Or did he play? I think he played a Biotic there to get the efficiency committee back. So he could... Oh, he's going to install... As far as I'm aware... Oh, did he get... Sorry, okay. He got back the... Sand. He must have got back the Sand. It's the only thing that's left here. So, the next play, presumably, will be to res the Sand, play the efficiency committee, and to score it using the other biotic labour he has in hand. It's going to take... Neil here is in a position he can click 3 times for money off Armitage code busting. He sees the biotic, very unlucky there. He could click 3 times an Armitage and try and do that, but he's got to presume he's got an agenda in hand there. Oh, that is unlucky. That is desperately unfortunate. Nope. Sees the biotic again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm pretty sure there's an efficiency committee there in hand, and Dave just got... Okay, last click. Last throw of the dice. Hey! Oh, dearie me. Talk about unlucky HQ accesses. That was unfortunate. I almost feel I would have felt bad if he hadn't have scored that agenda there. And he's just drawn up into another efficiency committee, and he's just drawing up the whole 3 clicks. The whole 2 clicks and installing. Dave in a real problem here. He is not seeing any ice at all, and losing that efficiency committee is a problem. It certainly means that he can't correct this situation and use those clicks. He's going to hit a wall of static on R&D, and I'm surprised here he's not hitting HQ hard again. He's just drawn up a substantial amount of agendas, a substantial amount of cards. Going to play Data Sucker, which he kind of wanted to do a heck of a lot earlier. But hey, better late than never. He still has free accesses at HQ. He's going to run through the biotic labour. And he's going to pass turn over. He's going to res the Eve campaign for 5, getting 2 back. And it's a very sensible time to play it. His economy's stalled completely. He's got the Armitage, but he's still on 0 credits. And seeing some ice at last, so he's going to ice up HQ, gaining his credit for engineering the future. And things looking a little bit more rosy now for Dave. Still got a biotic labour in hand, as we know. He's going to install another remote server, which is interesting. I'm not sure what that is. Again, I'm pretty sure the innermost remote is the Sansan. Not sure what the outermost remote here is. And perhaps he's trying to sneak out a cheeky agenda here. Could easily just be another Eve or an Adonis, or even another Sansan, potentially. Or he could be sneaking out a cheeky one. Maybe a Gillahans or something of that ilk. Going to go crazy with an accelerator base test and use it. That's what he should do, clearly. Don't try that at home, kids. Unless you've got a Jackson Howard, in which case you should. So he's going to play Parasite onto the wall of static, so that will go eventually. He is going to pass the turn over, and now at this stage Dave will res another Eve campaign and take some cash. So he's got some solid drip economy going to be coming in now. Seeing what looks like either a I think that's a Gillahans there in hand, which must be tempting to score, just so he can solidify his economy here. Gillahans in HB is just so strong, because it means that he can gain tempo with an install, gain 4 credits in a turn and still have tempo, and that's incredibly good. He's going to install that Grim there on R&D. It's going to take a while to get through onto that wall of static with the Parasite. And Kate here really losing a lot of tempo early on. If he does run R&D, it's going to suffer for it. He's going to play a clone chip, looking to recur the Parasites, presumably. And he's going to take some money off Armitage code busting. I think he's got 1 click left, at which point he will play a hard... all-nighter, isn't it? Sorry, yes, all-nighter. Not a card you see hugely often in tournament play, but saving a click can be very beneficial at the right time. At least I think that's what it is. It's far end of the camera, blending in nicely with the Wotan playmat. So lots of drip economy coming back in from the Eve campaigns for Dave there. That Parasite eventually will do its work against the wall of static, and the Grim into R&D, not the best. He's going to res the Sansan, and he's going to install the Gillahans and score it, taking him to 3 points, 3 points to 2, and that Gillahans is going to do fantastic work, I would imagine. Again, if you've got nothing else to do, 2 clicks for 3 credits is good enough for me. It's a great ability to be able to use, and for only a risk of 1 point of an agenda to play out. He is going to run the Sansan and trash it, which seems sensible. And he's certainly not in a position to trash those Eve campaigns at this stage. It's very difficult to get up to the 5 credits necessary to trash those. Particularly when his only source of economy, Armitage code busting, is about to die a horrible death. And we haven't seen any other economy from him yet. I guess you could kind of include Data Sucker as an economy card, but only if you've got the breakers to back it up with. He's drawn up there into what looks like a Viper, which could do very good work on a remote, if he wants to maybe score out an efficiency committee later. So obviously, yeah, that's dead. So the Grim is the only thing left there protecting R&D. He's going to install, I think, that Viper there for free onto R&D. Definitely ice light here. He's packing a fair bit of ice in this deck. I'm almost certain it's around about 18 pieces of ice, and he's been very unfortunate to not see much at all. Particularly when you're facing off against the Parasite Kate deck. That is not what you want. You want to see lots of ice. So yeah, not a great matchup in this sort of situation, this sort of circumstance. Normally, HP is very strong against Parasite Kate, or their ice is high strength, and it takes a while to sucker down. You're either going to use a lot of Data Sucker tokens, or you're going to have to wait a long time for the Parasite to do its work. Either way, the Corp gains a great deal of tempo, so this is probably not the deck you want to face when you're playing a Parasite deck. Hitting up against Itchies and Eli's, Victor 2.0, not cards you really want to Parasite. You kind of want to be seeing the Enigmas and Ice Walls and Wraparound, sorry, that's a bad example. But, cards of that ilk. Cards that'll die quickly and allow you easy access. So, quality time there from the runner. Seeing lots of cards. The mem chip going down. I'm not quite sure why he needs that just yet. He's only on one mem being used at the moment anyway. He's going to play another Hard at Work and another Armitage. So, interesting. Again, he's got no breakers here at all. He's obviously counting on these Parasites doing all the work for him. Either that or he's just been incredibly unfortunate and not seeing his breakers. Presumably he's got Atman in the deck. You would normally expect to see that with the Data Suckers as well, but hasn't seen it. So, quality time, probably what he wanted to see to draw 5 cards up, but obviously hasn't quite seen what he needs yet. At least he's got a more stable economy here now. He's going to ice up Archives. Again, I would imagine to protect against archive runs to boost up that Data Sucker. And again, the great thing about engineering the future is that it gains the tempo in doing so. He still gains the credit for doing that. He hasn't lost any tempo by putting a piece of ice on archives. He's just taking up the runner's time more than anything else. So he's going to run against HQ and see something shining brightly that I cannot even possibly conceive what it is. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Is it an Eli? I'm sure we'll find out soon, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking like he's going to go try and click through it, so whatever it is, he's going to bounce off whatever it was, and he's going to hit whatever that is. I think that's a next bronze there on Archives. I think that's about right. So, it's just the code gate, bounce off. Denying him his Data Sucker tokens, and that's important. And that's what makes his viruses tick, ultimately. He's going to take cash off Armitage code busting, and as soon as we find out what that piece of ice there on HQ is, we'll let you know. He's going to take his drip economy off Eve. Such a great economy card. So strong. 5 to trash, and a heck of a lot of money coming off it in the long term. Just enables fast advance to gain some real teeth. He draws what looks like another next bronze there into hand. Having a look to see what's in the trash. Not a great deal at this stage, just the one Parasite. Next bronze, not really what he wants to see against the Parasite deck, but it's better than nothing at this stage. And at least with multiple ones res, they have a little bit of extra oomph. And he's given some consideration as to what to do here. He's only on 3 points, so he's got a way to go yet before he can fast advance his way to victory. And the bottom line is that fast advance isn't cheap, and the bot it labours 4 credits plus all the advancements, and it's not cheap at all. But it is untrashable, and that's important. unless you see a demolition run or an imp. So, yeah, the runner here in a difficult fix. He looks like he's got a test run in hand there, which I'm surprised he's not using. He looks like he's drawn up into a fem. Can't quite make out all the cards. It could be a daily cast, so he's going to take some money off Armitage and take some more money off Armitage. So he's really giving the... Yeah, it is a fem, which he's discarding to enable him to bring it back to the clone ship. He's really giving the Corp free reign here. He hasn't seen a single breaker other than that fem, which, you know, he does have the money to use at the very least, but is it really going to do a great deal? He's certainly got no in on R&D. With 3 pieces of unres dice, it's unlikely he's going to see what he needs there. Draws up to the biotic, and it looks like he mandatory draws a Gillahan. So that's 2 biotic labours there in hand. He's got the fast advanced tools at the very least. And he's going to draw again and see an ABT, I believe, and he's going to install another piece of ice on HQ, which seems to make sense there, given that he's just drawn up into 3 points worth of agendas. Try and lock down HQ. He's got the means and ability to start scoring out now. He's certainly got the money for it. It is just a question of what Neil's going to do here. Does he have a play against R&D? Central's locked down for the moment. He has absolutely no in unless he starts recurring parasites and making runs with Data Sucker to try and trash those pieces of ice, but I'm not sure if he has the time to do that at this stage. He's only on 2 points. Dave's on 3. But you just know next turn we're going to see Biotic into a 2-pointer, and suddenly he's on match point. And he is locked down fairly hard here. His economy's almost at an end as well. He's only got 4 credits worth left on those Armitage code bustings. And there is plenty of money in Dave's pool. So first click, he is going to spend some cash on the test run, and he's going to bring back the parasite onto the next bronze, and he's going to run and trash it with a data sucker, gaining a data sucker back, and then he's going to just make 2 more runs on archives and take 2 more data sucker tokens. So he's on 3 data suckers, so at least now he can trash what he needs to, but at the same time you have to wonder here if the time's passed. He's almost a turn behind where he needs to be at this stage. That Eve campaign has fulfilled its usefulness and goes to archives. And that's a heck of a lot of money. So we're going to Baltic Labour, as predicted, install, gaining a credit, and then triple advance to score out the Project Vitruvius, taking him to the magic 5-point mark. We know he's got a Gillahan's in hand, which won't actually help him to win the game, but it's another point. He doesn't really want to be sat on 6 at this stage. Going to quality time, and he's desperate here for he's seeing a couple of SMCs there, or at least one. But you have to wonder here if it's too little too late. He's going to play another clone ship. And he's just so short on money here as well. The Armitage code busting's almost exhausted. His money's almost exhausted. He's got a dirty laundry archives, I think. Yep. He's got a dirty laundry archives. Obviously gain a data sucker token in the process as well as some money. And he's kind of got a pressure here. He's got to make him res ice. But even if he makes him res ice, he's still going to have the money he needs to probably score out a game-winning agenda here. It is a tough one. We know there's a Grim on R&D somewhere as well. If he loses that data sucker, it really is all over. He's going to play the SMC. So, you know, with so much unres dice, he's got no really decent parasite targets. The ice has to be res to use parasite, and that's not what he needs. Looks like he's drawn up into an Adonis there. So not a game-winning agenda, as far as I can see anyway. Otherwise he would have done it by now. I'm pretty sure he has the other biotic in hand. But there's 2 clone chips on the board now, and he knows there's parasites. He difficult one. Oh, he's going to bot it. He's going to bot it the Giller, taking him to 6. And I think at this stage, again, because of the way Game 1 went, they just called it a day. And obviously on tournament scoring rules, Dave takes the win. It looks like he had the Vitruvius coming along there shortly anyway. But yeah, so at this stage, he just kind of said, yeah, I'm done. I've played a lot of Netrunner today. I'm just going to take my cheap win at 6 points. And thank you very much. So Dave's still undefeated, moves on to the finals, and we'll be bringing those as soon as we can.